back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to go over a story titled, My Wife, a 22-year-old female, wants to make things work after things with her affair partner aren't going great. How do we go about rebuilding trust? And a shout out to Sean for sending in this story. And guys, in spite of how the title sounds like he wants to make things work out, guess what? He's not going to let things work out with her. This is about a guy who married not too long, found out his wife's cheating on him with a 48-year-old guy. It was a sugar daddy, sugar baby situation. Was going to leave her husband for him, thought that he was going to support her, and guess what? She found out that he has multiple girls just like her, and now she wants to make things work. And initially our guy, in an emotional state, wants to do it, but eventually you're going to see, nope, not happening. He tosses her to the side of the road, moves on, and things don't work out well for her. And that we're going to go over here, guys, want a good revenge story against an a-hole who does you wrong, but also remember, guys, as much as you're hurting and don't want to turn your world upside down and go through a divorce or bad breakup and all that, if your girl cheats on you, end it. There's no reconciliation. Don't fall for the fight for us nonsense, because why would you fight for someone like that? They're the one that ruined the whole thing. And if you do, they're going to do it to you again. So it starts off, says here, just to skim through our background here, my wife and I have been in a relationship for over 2.5 years, married for 6 months. Smack! So he got married a little under 2 years after knowing her. That's the dumbest thing ever. Why? What's the freaking rush? He was 25 years old or something when he got married. My wife cheated on me 2 months ago and was planning to divorce me for her affair partner. I only found out about the affair partner last week. I thought the divorce talks were just personal failings of mine, and stuff I needed to work on. Well, if they've been only married 6 months, perhaps he can get annulment. She moved out earlier this week, framed as a trial separation before divorce, and we've kept in low contact ever since. However, we had a mental check-in to see how we're doing tonight, since things were kind of messy during our last days. It turns out that the affair partner is not so good now that I now know about the affair, and there's not any adrenaline anymore. He keeps talking about how he's been with better women, and how he could still pull better women. She regrets leaving me, and wants to end things with him, and work on our marriage again. Oh, how convenient. Now she wants to come back home after cheating on this guy repeatedly, because things aren't working out with the sugar daddy. Because he's saying, I can get better girls than you. Who is this guy? Leonardo DiCaprio? No, absolutely not. But a guy who's this clueless and young and hurt might think that's a good idea. As things are, we are currently planning on working it out. Don't worry, he's not. I said I still wanted to work it out after I discovered the affair and before she moved out. I'm okay with the concept of non-monogamy. Smack! You're saying you're okay with the idea of an open marriage? Well, that's what she's been doing. Look how well that worked out. Don't worry. Stick around, guys. We had long-term plans to open up sometime next year and eventually hope for a tried down line. For me, it's more so the matter that it happened before we agreed to officially opening it up. And it was not with the person who I said at the very first discussion was on my no list. See how stupid this is? So obviously they talked about an open marriage, and obviously that was her way to get permission to do what she was doing. Making the point about open marriages, they bring it up, guess what? And he didn't bring it up. I guarantee you she brought it up because they're cheating. Yes, a boundary was crossed, and we both need to work on it a lot. Yes, I had an individual therapy appointment set up for Tuesday to work on myself mentally, and also why I'm more okay with everything than I thought I would be. Yes, we'll be getting couples counseling if we do end up getting back together. Dude, there's no getting back together, and I know he knows this now, but still, why would you want to be married? Why get married if you're going to then have your girl, or both of you, go around effing other people? That's the dumbest thing ever. Why don't you just at least be, each other's side piece or something, but not together or married? So we both want to give it a go again. Smack! You're a moron, but don't worry. But everything's kind of effed up now that she's officially moved out. Since her original plan was that they were going to get in a relationship after our divorce, the affair partner is a co-signer on her lease. He spent $8,000 on furniture for her and their new apartment and was going to be paying for part of her rent. If she tries to break things off with him, he has a key, could take all the furniture back, and she wouldn't be able to pay the rent on her own. And that's just on the logistics side. And how is that your problem, bro? Tough crap. You see why she's trying to get back? Because she realizes she's screwed. That guy was willing to get her an apartment, spend $8,000 on furniture and all that for her to be his side piece. Meanwhile, he has a lot of them. So obviously, like I said, he's a sugar daddy. Really, and the open marriage thing, that was so she could have her fun and probably replace this guy, because obviously she was wanting to get serious with the guy with the money. Well, we agreed on giving her a month to end the situation with him. Smack! We agreed. That was her idea. And tell him she wants to work things out with me, but she's also said that there's a chance that number could still go up again before the month ends, because she has no idea how to end things with him since he's so involved in the new apartment. Part of me understands that, but part of me is also very not okay with that. More shit to work out in therapy. No amount of therapy is going to fix the fact, dude, that she's deceitful, that she's a liar, that she's a rotten person, okay? And fix the trust in her. This is ridiculous. And I know he knows this now after part 2 is coming along here. Once a cheater, always a cheater. She only wants you back because things aren't working out with her sugar daddy. I know most of the advice I'm probably going to get is leave her, but at least currently we both want to make it work. Any advice on what to do going forward will be appreciated, mainly ways that she could end things with him and ways that we could begin to mend trust. The whole comment section, as you can imagine, is giving him a major dose of reality. And he'll openly admit that, yeah, that was kind of a dumb idea. But this is the mental state, the emotional state that a lot of guys get into when they're young and inexperienced and don't know reality. And they themselves fall in love with a girl and they'll put up with so much. You got to have self-respect, guys. And also, you got to spend a lot more time knowing your girl before you get married to her. 2 years together and they got married and she was 21 and he was 25 at the time, give or take. What the hell? That's no time in there. And even then, you spend years, no guarantee. Now the update for the good stuff. He says, dang, I was deep in the denial stage when I wrote part 1, huh? You think, dude? I was already in therapy at that point, and some comments suggested, but was still quite early in it. I was still really desperate to save a relationship that I should have given up on way earlier. Thank you. See? I don't think therapy or the therapist got him to be in that realistic mindset. I think Reddit, guys just like you and me, tearing him a new one. Still really desperate to save a relationship that I should have given up way earlier. It's wild to read that now and see what I was willing to let myself be put through, and seeing how much I still let myself be put through after the initial post. Better late than never. At least he's recognizing this now. Well, I'm happy to report that I finally gave up. Well, no, dude, you didn't give up. She gave up on the marriage. You just are dealing with it accordingly. It still took me way longer than I should have to pull the plug on her, but the plug has been pulled. We had the final talk in December, see paragraph 1, where I finally said enough was enough. Hallelujah! Better late than never. We had already filed at that point, and we were just waiting for the court date. And currently, we're 4 months past our divorce being officially finalized. Wonderful, dude. You're a free man. Don't do anything stupid. Don't rush into another relationship. Definitely don't rush into a marriage. Let her be some other sucker's problem. I do have some fun details I could go into. How her affair partner apparently has 2 other side chicks besides her. How my ex and the affair partner were planning a trip to Vegas while she was telling me that she was actually going to take time for herself. Or how she keeps breaking no contact post-divorce to ask if I'm starting some drama or another, to just scratch the surface. Do you hear that? She was originally going to plan a trip she was originally going to work on herself. That's what she was telling him, but was planning a trip to Vegas with her affair partner during that time. This is when they say I want to work on myself and all that. No, they're working on Chad and Tyrone's you-know-what. But there's kind of no point. I'm in a significantly better relationship now with someone who actually values me and not the money I can spend on her, and now I get to have dates where we make Pokemon teams for characters in the D&D podcast you both listen to. Oh, for heaven's sake. But more importantly, smack, you're already in a new relationship? What the hell, dude? How many months in there in a new relationship? He just got divorced. This is some guy that probably can't be alone. I get, an easier way to get over a girl is to get under another one. But a lot of guys can't handle it. I hope he doesn't make the same mistake of rushing into another marriage and off you go. But regardless, at least he ended it with her. But see, she thought that this guy was, the big thing, is going to take care of her and all that. She's just a number, a side piece of many girls. Like, there's really no point in getting into all the tomfuckery with my ex because I'm in an objectively happier situation now. And frankly, it wouldn't be worth the brain power to reopen those. I'd much rather spend that energy thinking about my new girlfriend. This just feels like the final line to write in the story between me and my ex, so I'm writing it so I can permanently close it. Now, he's going to have more comments I'll get into a second here, but again, smack. You can tell already he's not pouring all his energy into her. He's 20, how old is he? 27? Something like that? No, I'm wrong. Well, whatever. He's in his late 20s. Point is, he should be focusing all his energy and time on himself, his grind, his purpose, making something of himself. I mean, he may think, I got a job, I'm fine. Well, no, rise up in that job. Do something better. Not putting all your energy and making it into some girl. I'm afraid he's going to make the same freaking mistake again. And girls will recognize this. They recognize when guys are dumping everything into them and rushing into a relationship. They're like, I got this motherfucker right around my finger. That's why you don't rush into relationships. You take your time evaluating them. Make them work to get you. They appreciate that more. And never let yourself get pee-whipped. A guy's getting pee-whipped typically is a death by 1,000 cuts. But don't be that way. But this guy, we may be hearing from him in a few months about another stupid-ass situation. But at least he got rid of that gal. And the most important part of the whole thing is, she was leaving him for a sugar daddy, some guy that could provide. She was monkey branching. But guess what? Guess what? He was treating her accordingly. Now, a few comments from him. Somebody says to him, good for you. If you live in Hawaii, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Dakota, Utah, or Illinois, I'd sue for alienation of affection. He says here, alas, a no-fault divorce state. End up being a clean break with no ties in either direction. Wrapped it up in the very first court date, which is probably the best I could ask for. Well, that's good. But now you're getting yourself in another situation. Another guy says, good for you. Very happy that you and you're in a better future. I'm curious about one thing, though. When you were dragged over the coals about reconciling in those insane circumstances, did you consider there was truth in there or just angry strangers venting while not being in your shoes? Obviously, he's talking about the first post. And this guy says, a bit of both. There were probably some coming from a place of genuine trying to get me to see it, but there were also some that were definitely not. Optimistically, some were just more blunt about it than others. But even the bluntest ones are semi-funny to read back on now and see how far it's all come. I was trying to listen to all of them too, because I think once I found out about the cheating, there was always a part of me that knew we probably weren't going to get back from it. Well, see, he knew all along, but his emotions were telling him, get back with her, you can't lose her. He's a fucking cheater. He says, you can probably even see that when I said I know most of my advice I'm probably going to get is leave her. Because deep down, I did know that was the right answer. Well, you read a post or two about a couple that did work it out and came back stronger. And you're desperate for that to be your story, too, when you're actually in it. Yeah, that's a problem. People will get desperate and they hear there's a 1% chance things will work out, and they'll cling to that 1% chance, even though, why would you want to get back with someone like that? He also says, especially when it's still really fresh. I made that first post 5 days after I found out about the cheating, and 3 days after she moved out, and then immediately was regretting it. Very, very deep in denial, and still had a lot of work to do, though. I can forgive myself for that. Well, again, I'm glad he moved on from her. He's divorced, but now he's right back to square one in a way because he's rushing into another relationship. There are some guys out, well, actually, a lot of guys out there that in their mind, and they say this, I've known some guys like this, they can't be alone. It's like, what kind of fucking pussy-ass, bitch-ass mindset is that? You can't be alone. Guys, if you think that you can't be alone, well, first of all, you're wrong. But second of all, then you're setting yourself up to be in bad relationships with a girlfriend or wife, friendships, all type of relationships. You got to be able to be happy and content on your own and make yourself happy on your own, because if not, you'll get involved with the wrong people. You got to cut people out of your life when they're shit, and you saw what he had to go through to finally cut her out of it, But some people got to learn, but you guys, I know, are definitely different. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you find a good story you want me to cover, send it my way, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it's a good one, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.